Bullseye Marksman. Come train with us.
Hey, this is DJ, bullseyemarksman.com, Bullseye Marksman Gun Club, Cumming, Georgia. Tomorrow is a GSSF match. I saw a lot of customers up here warming up. I tried to put out a video on mastering GSSF indoors, but I made a target that's the same size as the 10 zone and the X ring, and these can be spray glued to a cardboard backer, and I have a very easy practice, a way to hone and refine your skills without using a lot of ammo, and you can even focus on the things that you need help with the most. So what I've done is I've loaded 20 rounds in some magazines. I've got my Glock, and I'm going to run this target out first to 15 feet, shoot 5 rounds, then to 25 feet, 5 rounds, then to 50 feet, 5 more rounds, and then at 75, the one that's really hard, 75 feet, 5 more rounds. So it's 5, 5, 5, 5, and that matches the presets on the target controller, and very easy practice. Now I can see exactly where I start to fall apart on the Glock match, which is usually going to be the long one, the 75 feet. Now you can use a shot timer, that's up to you, but what we're trying to do is take 1.5 seconds per shot. That's the standard for indoor Glock. So 10 shots would be 15 seconds. 5 shots in this case are going to be 7.5 seconds. I want to use as much of that time, so this lets me hear what that time is beep to beep. So I'm going to run this out to 15. If I can't put these in a tight little group in the middle of the X ring at 5 yards, I'm not going to be able to get perfect score at the long distance, because as it goes out, whatever sloppiness you have here gets multiplied 5 times out at 75. So I'm going to be trying to dig a little hole. Now with the strings, this also gives me sort of a visual reference. I want smooth trigger presses, good stance, good cinched grip with a firm grip, and I want the trigger press to be perfect, swift, and straight to the rear. So let's try to put these in one ragged hole, if possible. Stand by. .41 seconds. And let's take a look at what we did. 4 of the shots are in a 3/4 inch spot, and 1 of them was a little to the right. I'm okay with that. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to run it out to 25. So we're at 25 feet. That's 8 yards. Now you would think that I'm expecting to get a wider group. Well, actually, it's just the opposite. I'm going to spend this time trying to be even more precise and try to hit that same small spot. Okay. 5:44. I went a little too quick. Now what caused this one hit here? It's still an X-ring hit, but how did it leave this cluster? Well, what happened was as I squeezed the trigger, I also squeezed the hand, and the gun moved low left. And that's the problem with this banana squeezer kind of grip that you have. As you squeeze the hands and you move the trigger finger, this grip tightens and loosens. The ones that loosen allow the shots to go high usually, and the ones that tighten the hand go low left. Okay, so I can't get a 500 score shooting shots like this, but I'm going to run it out to 50 feet. Now, when the range officer says, load, make, ready, I'm going to get loaded and start getting my grip and be at low ready, because he's very quickly going to say, stand by, whistle, and you need to be ready very quickly. So I'm getting that cinch grip, nose over toes stance, getting everything ready, and I'm waiting, and I'm always going to start at low ready I'm not going to bring my gun up and hold it on the center and get on the wall of the trigger because A, you may launch one and get disqualified, but B, that causes you to go ready, set, go, and you push a shot low. Terrible mistake trying to cheat that first shot. I want the first shot to be perfect, and I'm going to take the amount of time required to do it. 5 shots at 50 feet. Perfect trigger press. Believe it or not, that's breaking the line with the grease ring, so I am still all X's, but this is not good enough. These on these lines, this is not good enough for 50 feet. If I'm there on the edge and I bring it back to 75 feet, I'm going to be right up on the edge of this 10-point line. I need to actually shoot a little bit better than that if I want to get a perfect score. So let's go back to 75. Now, at this distance, this is where having some shots in a tighter group are a great advantage on that target that has no indicators. Okay, so here we go. It's going to be all about natural point of aim. So my body is resting centered on the target. If it's not, I'm going to correct that. That's why you always train with natural point of aim. That way you naturally feel aligned with the target, centered. I'm going to get my cinch grip, my nose over toes. My feet are at hip width, not shoulder width, but hip width. And I'm going to try to get nice and balanced. Perfect, perfect fundamentals. I'm going to have to grip the gun a little harder here with this cinch grip and then relax the right hand a little bit so I get that smooth trigger press. And the fundamentals have to be flawless. Now, what am I shooting at? The 10 zone? No, I'm still shooting at the center of that X. Okay, went over the time by about a half a second there. But if you go over the whistle in an indoor match, you don't get DQ'd. You can still get about 1 shot off after the whistle. I felt like my grip loosened up on one of those shots. Look at that. I broke the line with that 1 shot. Now, what happened here is when I released the trigger, I allowed the hand to loosen that grip up a little bit. The gun went a little high. And anytime my follow through or that grip eases up, I always have one come up high, but that's not very much. And I still was able to get 1, 2, 3 10s and 17 X's. That's 3 10s and 17 X's for a total score of 200 out of 200. Not bad. I can actually do better, but this would be good enough to potentially shoot a 500. And I can run another one down there, shoot another 20 rounds. But here's something I'm going to do this time. The cardboard is clean. There are no holes out here. And I really want to make sure I never miss the sheet of paper. But I'm going to send that down to 75 and do one other thing. So now I'm going to, in 15 seconds, shoot 10 rounds. And so I've determined that the only place that I have problems is at 25 yards or 75 feet. So now I can focus my practice on the one place that I have the most problems. Okay, 1359. Let's see how we did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s, 4 X's. Look at that. All 4 of these were from 25 yards. But look at there, 5. So this would have given me potentially a 495 match, which for me, that's just unacceptable. Unacceptable. I do not want to be off of the sheet. I don't want to even be out of this 10 area. Actually, you know, I mislabeled this target. That's an 8. So it would have been a 498. But still, pretty good. I can paste this up and I can run it out there and try it again. Why don't I do that? See if I can tune this up even more. Okay, so correction of a typo, my target. I'll correct this when I get home, but it's 8 points there, 10 points, and X. Those are the only 3 we represent here. Okay, now we'll run it again, 10 rounds, under 15 seconds. That last one was 13:59. Let me see if I can use the full 15 seconds. All right, here we go. Stand by. Okay. Went a little faster, but they all felt like they were going to be on there. Let's take a look. I gripped the gun a little bit harder with that cinch grip that time, trying to keep them controlled. Hopefully it kept them more in a tight spot. So that additional cinch grip with the hand relaxed really got me in there. So I saw the dot moving around here as I was shooting, but my fundamentals were perfect enough to put the round exactly where the dot was when I snapped the trigger. I had only one here, so by having that little bit tighter control cinch grip, you know, I have these hands sort of turned in, and I'm spring coiling these forearms with this cinch grip on the front hinge, and that allows me to get a really great grip. I'm crushing the grip on the gun. I can just feel this stippling cutting into my hand. Look, you can see it. But the actual squeezing of the hand, I'm not even squeezing enough to pick up this can. It's just very light. So the banana squeezer part of my grip is very light, and this allows this trigger finger to have a lot of isolation and independence. So if you see, when I press the trigger, even fast, the gun doesn't move at all. Here, I'll slap the trigger. The gun doesn't move. So improving the grip and stance also keeps the gun from rising high and low. If I'd have had a bad stance, I'd have had a lot of rounds going high and low that way as well. My trigger press would send them left, and squeezing the hand or bending the wrist sends them down this way. So anyway, great exercise at the 4 distances, or just pushing it out to 75 and working on. Now, if you can only get out to 50 before you start having problems, then run this out and work on it at 50. But look, this is the same thing as a Glock target. When you print these, select scale to fit and portrait mode, and they'll print out perfectly. The link is tinyurl.com/djtargets. We're at bullseyemarksman.com, and there's my email. On YouTube, my channel is /@BEM trainer.
Bullseye Marksman. Come train with us.